So in a previous video, we checked out the Link Plus little thing. It kind of looks like a old DVD player, and it actually has on the front like the two spinners for like laptop style hard drives or SSDs that were in that 2.5 inch form factor. And then on the bottom, you had your NVMEs. It was kind of weird setup. And then the processor wasn't that great. And well, I think they listened. And yeah, I've been playing with this for about a month. And I don't like to really rush reviews as always. I like to try to beat on things a good bit. And that's where I've gone with that. Been running Frigate, which if you're not familiar with that, is a open source NVR for different IP cameras. And it picks up and detects different objects, people, faces, cars, FedEx, you name it. Pretty awesome software that's evolving so fast. And then of course we ran Home Assistant on it. But the cool part is what they've done is they've listened. So on the front, you can see we've got 4 hard drives. And then on the side, which I'll tear into a little bit when we go in a little deeper on the hands-on, they also have the spot for the memory, and then you get NVMe. There's 2 NVMe slots, and actually I put the Google Coral in it for doing the Frigate stuff. And then down here is the USB for the operating system. This does come with a license of Unraid for you. Now it is the newer license style, and that way you only get upgrades free for 1 year. This is the starter one that fits this size box and number of devices. Now it is only N97, but then I guess there's a trade-off with that. It's not a very power hungry device. Even max out, and I was doing a lot of stuff for Frigate and everything, I was hitting like 35 to 40 watts with all the drives spinning. Not too bad at all. So let's dig into the hardware a bit more on this one, and then I'll show some of the interfaces if you want to hang around for that and see the geeky side of Frigate, and then even if you're not familiar with Home Assistant for doing home automation. I think it's really an awesome little box for being able to do all your recording of your cameras and everything, and then also run all of your home automation stuff. You could run Z-Wave, Zigbee, Thread, etc. all off this same box. Just kind of a do it all in one type thing, and it's not too bad on the price. Now I know you probably can say, well, I could build that for cheaper. Yeah, you probably can in your own case and everything, and then get your own license to like whatever you want to do, like True NAS or something like that that's even free. But then some people just want it ready to go and just pop some hard drives in it and rock and roll. So right now they're priced for like, I want to say like $4.29 on Kickstarter. Prices probably can change. I hate to burn prices into videos because things evolve or disevolve, or is that even a word? I don't know. But you can check all the links down below if you want to go find one for purchase. And no, there was no funds exchanged on this. They didn't pay me to say any of this. I just keep it real as always and unbiased. So the way this is designed is just like other NAS, and you can see they got the buttons. You can pop out all your different hard drives, and we'll pop one out and take a look at it. These are going to be these toolless caddies. Now I've thrown in hard drives that I had is just 4 terabyte reds, and yeah, you just pop out the little clips on each side, and the hard drive pops right out. It's just a plastic little tray that, you know, to hold the hard drive. Just get the SATA connectors facing backwards, and you pop them like that, and then that's it. The hard drive is in the tray ready to go. And really, really simple. Slide it in the tray and close it up, and that's it. Now, on this side is just a magnetic little tray that goes on here. And I guess you could put this laying down if you really wanted to, but yeah, that would be weird. I guess they want you to put this facing up. But you pop this off, and then you get where your memory can go, and they only have right now in this model is the 8 gig. You could swap it for 16 gig. And then you got your battery right here, like your BIOS stuff. And then this is actually the little USB thumb drive. So that all stays inside there. This comes with Unraid pre-installed. I did put 7.0 on it, and it works great, no problem. Now the NVMEs, again, toolless. Pop that open. Now you can see here that I just had a simple little NVMe. It's not the right size, so I guess that being toolless, you're not going to get those others. This is the Google Coral in here, and it's all, like I say, all toolless, and it does work fine. I should probably get a full size when I continue to use this. And then on the back, you do need to pull these off. I didn't pull mine off for doing the thermal stuff, but I haven't had any issues with these drives overheating. Now on the front, it showed we had that little screen display, and they do have the lights for all the different hard drives and NVMEs, and you do get your stuff on the front. You get USB-C, USB-A, and then you get your power button. That's kind of cool that that hides from there. On the back, you get the power supply down here, just a barrel jack. These are 2.5 gigabit Ethernet support, so they do backward support down to whatever speed you need, of course. Then you get HDMI for like debugging. Then you get your USB-C, USB-A's, and then you get these switches up top that controls the contrast, and then if that display is on the front. So nothing else really crazy to the box. What this is right here is just the top. So the drives, you don't see the drives. And then it's still, only thing I had a concern about was with if this was in front of the drives, but I guess you're still going to get the cooling out of these fins here. And I did throw it on the thermal just to see, and you could see it was pushing the hot air out of here. I didn't take this apart because that was the cool part. I didn't need to. Everything was accessible, all the ports, all the things for doing all the various, you know, if I wanted to change this out to do a different operating system, NVMEs, unlike when I had on that other Ugreen where you had to take it apart if you really wanted to get to the other NVMe. If anybody's curious about the power supply, it is a 19 volt, 6.32 amp power supply, so 120 watt power supply. So this isn't going to be like a full in-depth like video on everything Unraid, but I just want to show you a quick interface. If you had never seen it before, it's pretty slick. I did put the latest version as of the recording of this video, 7.1 beta 2, and I didn't go with a regular Unraid array where it just writes to one drive at a time. Given that this was ZFS, you know, I could only do 4 hard drives in it anyway. I went with ZFS. Gives that redundancy, and then it gives speed as well because it does the stripes across all of the data on all the drives. Now, this is going to be just 4 drives, but if I do lose one of the drives, the way I did have it set up is that if one of them dies, then I can pop in the drive, and I got that redundancy, and all the data is safe if you lose one drive. Now, this is the flash, has the 4 gig, but then don't worry about it being the size. You don't write really much to it. It's just to boot off of, and then everything is really written over to that cache, that NVMe. Or if you really wanted to, you could write everything over to the ZFS pool or whatever else. So I don't have it on auto start. I'm going to start up the array. It's going to start up the containers. I did install a couple containers on here, which is Frigate and Home Assistant. Kind of a cool little, you know, combination of everything all in one box. Now I do have this interface zoomed in, so it looks kind of blown up. I was just thinking because some people are watching this on mobile devices. Now the Docker tab here, you can see I've got Frigate, I've got Home Assistant started. I'll jump into those in a second. But if you did want to, I got to scroll because the zoomed in. If you wanted to install another Docker container, you could. It's really easy in Unraid. So if I wanted to do Node-RED, right, I could just come in here and pick Node-RED, tons of different ones, and then I could come in here and then hit install, And then they have like a lot of them will have all the defaults with instructions. And if you really don't want to read things, you can just go through and hit apply. And it will automatically pull that Docker container down for you and start it and give you the link. If there's a GUI to it, you can jump right in and start using it right away without reading the damn manual. So yeah, you can see in the Docker tab, we got Node-RED, boom, I can pull up Web UI and I can start doing all my things I wanted to write in Node-RED. Pretty much, pertains to all the other Docker containers, etc. Plugins and stuff. There's just all the different stuff. Like I did put that little Coral, that Google Coral in there for doing the Frigate stuff. That's the package detection. And you just load the plugin and boom, there's no drivers to load. It pops in and gives you this cool little interface to look at if you get bored. So you're thinking about, well, Home Assistant. You're running Home Assistant Docker container. If you're familiar with it, yeah. I wanted to stay lightweight because you can see here, it's only using 400 megabytes out of the 8 gig because I didn't upgrade this to the 16 gig memory or more. So I wanted to stay with, not using HAOS on it. Unraid is fairly easy, as you can see, for doing Docker containers. So it makes it easy to install all your different things. So if you wanted to do like Zigbee or Node-RED, all kind of other add-ons, those are really Docker containers. Well, you can just install them yourself instead of having to do a full-bore HAOS VM. But if you do want to do that, there are virtual machines here. You can do that. But again, we only have 8 megs on here. You could pop in whatever you wanted to do. Throw your little VM of Windows, Debian, or even, like I say, Home Assistant and rock and roll. But the cool part is, Unraid, you can see, there's no jumping to command line if you don't have to. It's all click, point and click, do the thing. It's GUI. I get it. Some people love it. Some people hate it. I kind of like it at the end of the day. It's just easy to manage when changing things. But of course, if you wanted to, you can pop into the actual command line since it's Linux in the background. So this was just a little one I did. And I used the auto builder for throwing things in there just to there's like a Shelly plug. I got the Apollo air sensor in there. There's a bunch of stuff in here. It's asking me about new devices. You can see I've got all my devices it's trying to pick up from Bluetooth. You can pop in and add those in. Like if I wanted to add this SwitchBot one here, and we'll say, yeah, it's in the bedroom, and hit finish. But you can see we have all the devices. It's pretty simple to do with Home Assistant. You can see the carbon dioxide's picking that up in the temperature in that room. Not sure which sensor that is, but I could look at the MAC ID and find out. But it's kind of cool. You could set up all your Frigate cards and everything, your camera cards. But let's get to that because that's the exciting part of what I wanted to do with this box was just to play around with Frigate and let it run on all those hard drives. If you haven't seen Frigate before, it's a free open source NVR. And then it actually has all the object detection as well. And it's pretty slick. And this is only that N97 processor, and I've got 6 cameras running on this thing. So you can see here, actually, you got all these different track things. You can see I've been playing with like license plates and stuff like that. All the different license plates can pop in. It will read those license plates using my license plate reader camera. If you're curious about that video, look down below. I'll try to leave the link down there. It's just a zoomed in camera at the corner of my house. It works pretty well for that. So these like people and everything, you see all the people that were around. See if we can pull in this guy here and we'll look at the video of him walking by. This is coming from the doorbell camera by Reolink. I believe it's on the side of the house. I do have it like picking up like dogs and bicycles and cats and package. Like you can see this guy for Amazon, he came over here, he's got the package, it picked up, hey, there's a package at your front door. So you can see like the automation for that, which is pretty cool because you could bring that into Home Assistant and notify yourself from your phone, etc. Have it send you the snapshots and rock and roll. So one thing I wanted to test, can we transfer files to this thing with Frigate running, kind of using the processor a good bit. You can see over here, we've got, 45% load, 30, 50%. Oh, it pops to 100 sometimes. So I wanted to throw in and drop some files on this thing. We're just going to come in here. This is on the ZFS share. And this is using 2.5 gigabit. So we should get, I think max is like 280. I think I've seen on that before, but we may not get that with a loaded server. Yeah, so we're getting like 140, 170. Is it really due to Frigate running as well? Let's go ahead and see. I'm going to see if I can stop Frigate quick enough while it's still transferring. And we'll hit stop and pull the transfer back. Let's see if it's going to pick up. So Frigate stop. Oh, look, there it is. You can see it starting to take off. So we're getting like 270. So it is actually Frigate loading down the CPU. Now, will it do the same thing? Let's start Frigate back up to the NVMe drive. Is it just a ZFS thing? So we'll just make a test folder on the actual NVMe drive and we'll paste it there. So it's a little bit quicker. Oh, it's dropping down. 150, 165. I bet you if we stop Frigate again, Frigate's going to start stopping and it should start taking off. So it is going to be that limit of the N97. If you have a lot of processes going, it's going to, I guess, slow down your file processes, which is understandable given it's only an N97 in this box. Now, just if you're curious, I did check while it was transferring that file, and we'll do it again. So I'm going to run it again, and looks like we're 42, 43 watts as it transfers that. So not bad. Let's see how many watts it goes to on the kilowatt meter once it finishes. Yeah, so we dropped down to like that 30 to 32 watts. And again, we'll start up Frigate. Now, I didn't have to stop Home Assistant. Home Assistant and Node-RED really aren't doing a whole lot. They're not really CPU intensive. Frigate's going to be the one because we're processing all that video from those 6 cameras at the same time. Yeah, so we do jump up to like 40 watts while Frigate is running. So that makes sense to pull about 8 or 9 watts extra for your NVR usage. But that's not bad, actually, considering if you brought up a whole hardware NVR that then you're kind of locked in someone else's ecosystem. Frigate just lets you do your own thing. So I guess what brings us to about the other processors. I really wish they probably would have put the i3 N305 or something along these lines. I don't think we would really run into some of the issues, especially when you got a bunch of other processes going, if you had a processor that was twice as fast. It's about the same TDP price, maybe. I don't know. Is it why they didn't decide, why they went with the N97 on this guy is beyond me. Maybe just, the economy of scale of things and trying to keep price down. I know this isn't all the components prices for trying to change out the processor, but even if you went, I think the N150 it's actually, according to this, a little bit slower. So, but I would wish they would just be a little bit beefier processor in this thing so we could run all the things and then still have a lot of file transfers to it with over 2.5 gigabit. But again, that 150 megabytes, that was not too bad. I mean, that's still faster than gig Ethernet that you were copying some of your files over, and then it still lets our Frigate stuff run, right? And of course, I know everybody's not going to run this for that. They may have a lightly loaded thing, so that's where that N97 will probably come out and shine. So if you want to see some other stuff for like Frigate or Home Assistant, Unraid, and other content that's more geared towards just the software thing, I know I kind of went probably a little more in depth than I should given this box, but I'm always excited to show some of the little cool setups. Definitely let me know down in the comment down below. And so I guess that leads us to, would you buy one? Yeah, I would say so. If I had an installation I was trying to do with doing Frigate with hard drives and home automation. Now, I like to do stuff a lot bigger. So I've got an Unraid box with like 8 or 9 drives, and I've got like an i7 processor. Just a little more beefier, but it's more money, and I built it myself. But if I had something I was throwing at family members and they just wanted a simple Frigate NVR home automation with Home Assistant or something like that, absolutely, this would be my go-to little thing to throw into their closet. Because a lot of people don't have like big network racks and everything in closets. They just have like a small router and an ISP deal or whatever. And we could plug this in on with a little battery backup and call it a day. So pretty cool little box. I would say the only thing negative, I really wish they probably would have went with just a little bit higher processor, say like the N150 or even like that i3, is it N305, I think it is. So go with a little beefier processor. This only thing is, it only comes with 8 gig right now, but then you could swap it to 16 gig. So that's really where I was running into some of the memory limitations on it with running Frigate, ZFS, etc. But you could go to 16. I have seen people run 32 or more on those N97. It's not supposedly supported, but I've seen it work. So your mileage may vary there. But other than that, pretty slick little box, and I do appreciate Link Plus for sending this for review, and definitely find everything down below and give me a comment, shoot me a thumbs up or whatever it may be, and see you in the next one, and y'all take care.